A key part of my job is travelling and meeting and working with different cultures and the different Caritas teams around the world. I'm often asked, what's it like to do all that travel? And it is quite tiring. I'm travelling a lot of the time. I spend a lot of time in airports and waiting for planes. But it is an aspect of my job that I particularly enjoy. I love meeting with different cultures and the different Caritas teams. I love seeing what we're doing around the world following different emergencies. I believe as a Christian that we are made in God's image. And yet we're all different. All our cultures are different. And so I believe very strongly that all of these cultures demonstrate something of who God is. And when I come across and I meet with friends from different nations and different languages and different cultures, I'm seeing something of who God is reflected in them. And that gives me a broader understanding of exactly who He is. I was first in South Sudan in 1996, which was at the start of my career. Of course, everything at that stage was very new, very exciting, but I was coming to a war zone. And at that stage, southern Sudan was fighting for independence from the north. I came back again in 2015. This time, South Sudan was a new country, a country that had recently, just 2 years prior, gained its independence from the north, and now here we were back fighting again. And I was here to support Caritas South Sudan as they met those additional needs due to the violence. Since then I've been back. I think this is my fourth time of coming back, and each time is different. At the moment the peace talks are going on in Addis in Ethiopia, and that has resulted in a little bit of increased tension. We're not quite sure what's going on, but we had planned to go to Wau just over the next few days. Because of increasing tension just around the city, we've had to change our plans, and we've moved down to Yei, which is just to the southwest of Juba. This demonstrates again the fluidity of the situation. The escalation of the tension can just happen overnight, and security is a real paramount importance, not just for the people that we're aiming to serve, but also the safety and security of our own staff. This makes planning particularly difficult. Over 7 million people have been affected by this compounding emergency of the war, of the drought, of the lack of food. It's very difficult to find anybody throughout the country that hasn't been affected in some way by this disaster. And trauma is evident in many people that we do speak to. When I go to places like South Sudan, I meet people and I go to places where I see trauma. I see people who are struggling with the conflict, with the ongoing drought, with the lack of access to food and water, the things that we take for granted. And it is hard to see people in that sort of situation. I've been doing this kind of work now for a number of years. I've used the skills, the experience that I have developed over those years to bring the support, the help that is required, and to demonstrate God's love practically through this experience. Last time I was here, it was dry. There had been no rain for several months. There was still ongoing drought and famine in some parts of the country. Now I'm back, and as you can see behind me, the area around Juba is very green. There's been a lot of rain, and there's a lot more greenery around. And I see this as being a little bit similar to the peace talks. These are fresh shoots of peace, and there is a hope and a continued aspiration for this country that peace will be restored in this nation. And that's my continued prayer for this country.